Hello everybody, welcome back. This is gonna be part 7 now, I up to, or 8? No, part 7 I believe. Part 7 of my Spriggan's run through the dungeon. In the last section I finished clearing out the swamp, got my first rune, and actually managed to get all the way up to the door of the vaults. So this time we're gonna be going ahead and trying to push our way down into the vaults and seeing how far we can get. Hopefully it'll go well. Hopefully we won't die and miserably lose what has been a brilliant run so far. I've had a few kind of nice spots and a few lucky spots. Some of the dungeons that spawned were a little bit easier than they might have otherwise been. But on the whole, this has been a fairly average run with some really hard and near misses, etc. And things have been going really well. I have a couple things I wanted to announce before I actually start the run with Zap. First thing, I have been running some other characters side by side simultaneously with Zap. I've recently been experimenting with a few different classes that I've never played before, and it's been a lot of fun. In particular, I can't wait to show you guys how fun a summoner can be, so I'm going to try and make that in a later video. Also, this character here, Vipria, is a Naga worshipper of Chibriados, which is a very interesting run in and of itself, which I actually have been recording. I've uploaded some of these things to YouTube, but haven't shared them yet because I want to finish Zap. If there's any demand for that, I'm more than happy to start putting these videos up simultaneously. The thing is, I don't like playing Zap when I'm not in the right mood because I don't want him to die because I was just being lazy. So I'm only playing Zap when I'm really willing to put my A game in. It's the only reason he's still alive now. That's one. Second major announcement, I was told that my keyboard presses were a little bit noisy in previous videos because of the keyboard I use, so I'm trying to use a different keyboard and trying to move it around a bit, see if I can't fix that. So let me know if that helps at all. And finally, I had a request to show what items I've identified, so I'm just going to go ahead and share this window with everybody. You can see here is the list of wands. I recommend pausing, list of scrolls and jewelry, and the next page. Here's my potions. And of course just a few staffs. Okay. At this point the only scrolls that I probably haven't identified would be the Scroll of Torment, the Scroll of Holy Word, the Scroll of Silence, and maybe the Scroll of Vorpalization. I think would be those. Potion wise I probably haven't gotten the Cure Mutate or gain strength, gain dexterity, gain experience potions. So pretty much any potion I find from now on is safe to drink, most likely, would be my guess. Okay, into the vaults we go, without any further ado. It begins. Training up fighting, that's good. Conjurations is good. Fire magic, so that I can eventually do Fire Cloud. And that's that. Once fighting gets up to level 4, we're going to turn it off, and it's pretty much there, just one more kill ought to do it. But conjurations and fire magic will never turn off, because that's going to be my endgame spells. Reviewing my actual spellcasting abilities, looks decent. I will have to get in touch with what I've got here, and food-wise, how am I doing? Okay, I have plenty of food to be getting on with. Okie dokie. The vaults are shaped like this for the most part. You have the main area. There it is. So you've got the main area like this, where these, frankly, packs and small groups of creatures frequently come at you. There's also a few individual strong creatures like ogres and the like you'll probably run into. And then you have the closed off rooms that you can see that are forming these squares around me. I remember that I actually memorized a spell specifically to deal with these people, and I am not using it, so I'm going to turn on Repel Missiles now. That should drastically reduce their damage output versus me. Notice that I'm not allowing my summons out in front of me because I want to be getting all of the experience. And I'm going to up strength because it's only at 6 and I would like it at 8. Okay, looks like Centaur is no longer confused. I now have a nice herd, I'm assuming it's a herd, of centaurs. Oh, go ahead and pull back. I never change. I love staircase hopping and I'm going to keep doing it. But yeah, so that's the overall layout of the floor. You're going to have closed off chambers, and open floor. And inside a closed off chamber, often it's an empty room, like so. Sometimes it's a group of 4 or 5 enemies or slimes or something nasty. Sometimes it's a miniature little trove of treasure. I mean, they call this place the vaults for a reason. Man, I really wish I had Dispel Undead. Such a good versatile spell. Fighting has now leveled up. It probably did a while ago and I didn't notice, but we're going to knock it off now. So that leaves Fire Magic and Conjurations. I'm going to focus Fire Magic and leave Conjurations to the side. I intend to get them both, obviously, but one of them's at level 2, so I can get a lot more mileage a lot faster by leveling it first. What is that? A Yaktuar skeleton. No dead to animate. I'm not even sure how I got here. I was auto-exploring. Oh, there's a teleport trap over there. Okay. Well, green means it's immune to poison and possibly can poison me. The kobolds aren't even that scary. I'm going to move towards the stairs and try and get off a Mephitic before I run away. So far, so successful. I'm going to go ahead and try and focus on the greens before I go away, because remember, I'm going to come out of a different staircase. So there's no problem leaving this staircase under attack. Yeah, I'm done with this. No easy way to get a kill here. It looks like my allies managed to get something killed before I left. The kobold cries, "My head! My head!" Alrighty. Mana recall, back into the fray. And not making the same mistake twice, let's quickly recall any living allies. Because obviously right now they're not in a good place. There we go. Lead them back towards the staircase that we were having a fight at. There we go. And at this point, because of how much mana I have and because of how high level most enemies are, I'm pretty much exclusively using my Secundurum's Blast. Because there's very few enemies that are really going to respond to Magic Dart. Obviously I keep Magic Dart around because of, the occasional kobold. And it's a good mana sparing spell. Now, one thing I've neglected to mention, mostly because I've never actually considered the ramification, one of Vehumet's abilities is that he, quote, reduces the cost of your expensive destructive magics. Now, what this means is that if I use a level, I want to say 6 spell, it costs 5 mana. And if I use a level 7 spell, it costs 6 mana. But this effect doesn't go below, I think 5 might be the cutoff, so it doesn't work on level 5 spells, would be my guess, but it works on everything below that. In other words, there's pretty much never a good reason for me to use a level 5 spell when I could be using a level 6 spell instead. For more damage, etc. At least not mana-wise. Hunger-wise and everything else, of course, it's going to be different. I've never fought a Firefly before, that's interesting. But I'm going to focus on what I know is dangerous right now, and that's this guy. And there's a big... Oh, that was a shapeshifter. That's why I've never seen it before. It was randomly changing between fireflies and less happy things. Notice how many of these are empty. Like I was mentioned earlier, that's kind of sort of normal for the vault. Now, in the big picture scheme of things, I'm clearing the vault for a couple reasons. Experience is obviously always a nice thing, and I do need something more experience. But my primary, if there's really a primary thing I'm after, it's that I want to get a better set of resistances than I have right now. Right now I'm only resistant to like one thing, if I recall correctly. And I have resistance to poison from a ring, and that's pretty much it, right? Resist poison and one level of resist cold. My understanding is the dungeon floors that come after this, the more resistances you have, the better likelihood you have of surviving. So that's my primary focus right now. Try to get me some of that. A new potion, that's interesting. I wonder what it could be. Wow, a potion of strong poison. Go figure. There's 2 levels of poison apparently for potions, and strong poison could easily kill a level 1 character, but you know, by now you're almost always immune to it. Note my traditional level of caution, not straying so far from the stairs that I can't easily blink back. I have several scrolls of blink and teleportation, so really there's no excuse for me to die right now. Do I have any heal? Yeah, I had heal wounds. There's literally no reason I should allow myself to die right now. Okay, because it's so far away, I'm going to use Repel Missiles before I move in. That didn't seem to make a whole lot of difference. I'm going to back away, let it take a pot shot. We're doing this. I have died to those chieftains so many times. That's why a long time ago in this game I memorized Repel Missiles, and despite multiple times of being like, I've never used this spell all game, I still kept it. Because dealing with these guys and their big brothers, the Yaktuars, it's kind of irritating. Just build up my horde of undead meat shields. It's so liberating not to need chunks. I mean, yes, it's limiting that you can't ever eat chunks or rely on them for food. But because I have such a super slow metabolism, it's not like it's game-breaking in any way. I don't have enough mana to fight a heavily armored beetle, so I'm just gonna hide. Other nice thing about vaults, plenty of places to hide. Less nice, things apparently spawn behind me. Now, I don't remember for sure, but I think the vaults have 8 floors. So, I'm going to stop short of the last floor, because the last floor of the vaults is like a boss level. I know this because one of my top ranked characters actually walked into it, ill prepared for what he was going to face, and let's just say he didn't last very long. You kind of sort of need to be able to fight vault guards en masse in order to have a shot down there, and he really couldn't. Whoa, what is a rockworm? I've never fought one of those before. You like poison, fire, and cold. Fast, large, and mindless. Well, I hear nothing about pure conjuration power, so suck a secundurans. Considering the description, I expected more. The doorway to the crypt. Now, if memory serves, the crypt is a place where the undead lurk. I'm not able to cast any particularly holy spells right now, so I'm not going to go in there. That and the fact that I've already kind of sort of set it on myself to do this vault. Oh my god, look what my rock zombie is doing. He's hiding inside the rock. That must be his gimmick. Note to self, do not fight rock zombies in hallways. To be honest with you guys, I really love the vaults. It's like doing the lair all over again. The creatures are much higher level, no doubt, and they're the presence of those whatchamacallit, zombie, not zombie, those red centaurs and Yaktuar herds makes it exceedingly dangerous at times. But usually by this point in the game, you can you have a fair shot at being able to beat whatever you face. And so it's just, you know, an exercise in getting a whole lot of experience and clearing stuff out. And you find hordes of these like lower level enemies, which used to be higher level, but now are not any real threat. It's like another chance at getting a bunch of free EXP. As opposed to some of the more challenging branches where every step is a super serious potential threat of death. I'm very far away from the stairs right now. Should probably fix that. Oh god. This is the other thing. Look how much damage he did with one hit. I went from 79 health to 55. That's scary when you realize that the guy is fast enough to catch me even, and fire every turn while he chases. I'm going to turn on Repel Missiles. Hasn't proved terribly useful, but for all I know, the fact that I lived the last time was purely because it was on. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. If you're like a longbowman at all, you're gonna find a very large, longbowman or crossbowman. You're gonna find a selection of darts or needles or whatever they're called, and arrows down here. Now the enemies are getting a bit stronger. That's a rock troll. Yeah, I'm not playing around anymore. It's fire time, baby. Thank God for the mana refund every time I get a kill. It really helps me sustain this stuff. So here's the problem. I would love to go back upstairs, but I don't know which staircase I'll come down, and there's a 1 in 2 chance it'll be that one, right over here, which will put me adjacent to a Hydra, which is not a good place to be. But I have very low mana. My solution, which I think is amazing, is to resurrect all of the dead right now. Now I have plenty of meat shields. I'm gonna blast the Hydra with my wands now to just try and eke it out, but I'm no longer worried about dying because there's plenty of people to, do what meat shields do best. Be meaty. Case in point. Wow, way to fail being meaty. There you go. Go up from this staircase so that both are identified now. This is the one staircase I haven't gone down yet, so let's see where it takes me. Unknown, nice little area. Vampire mosquitoes, in my experience, come in sets of 4 or more. That was only 2. But then again, my experience with them is primarily from the swamp and lower levels of the dungeon. I like leaving these doors open for the most part, so that I can see what comes through and I can easily enter and then close it behind me. So I don't close the doors behind me for the vault when there's multiple ways around. Oh, for a second I was like, where did that thing come from? It turns out it's my ally. Seems like I came down the exciting staircase the first time. This is proving mostly empty. Oh man, they come in groups. Yeah, I've been to the vaults, I think twice or maybe 3 times. So at this point in the game, I'm probably going to have to do some reading to make sure I don't make any absurdly stupid moves in terms of where to go and when. I know one of the design philosophies for the makers of Crawl was that you should never have to look at an FAQ to beat the game, and it's probably true, but I also am not particularly enthused about the trial and error that's involved in long-term decisions. Man, there was only a few the last time I saw Orc Knights was in the hardest level of the Orcish mines. So seeing them here is kind of sort of anticlimactic. It's like, I mean, here they're like basic enemies. Weak versus cold, eh? Not weak enough. Note to self, just blasting things with this Kundurans gets the job done. On the one hand, probably not worth the waste of money. On the other hand, I don't have any means of mapping an area, and I may find that I really want to at some point. Like if there's a special spawn on that floor that I need to find in a time-sensitive fashion. You know what? I keep forgetting that now I can start using Fireball more freely. It's an accurate spell. It does nice AoE damage. And look at my mana, it's 36 right now, right? I'm going to cast this spell for 6 mana, one's going to be refunded, so it'll be 5, and because of all my kills, I got back even more. I only spent 3 mana total. I see a vampire. I don't like vampires. I'm going to destroy the vampire with a poisonous arrow. Why the heck is there a baby alligator in the middle of the vault? Poor guy's gonna get beached. I have this scroll I've never seen before, so I'm going to go ahead and identify it just to be on the safe side. Scroll of Torment. Scroll of Torment will half the life force of all living creatures within range, including yourself. So, very useful spell when you use it at the right time, and that's why I'm glad I identified it instead of just, you know, test reading it. That was an ice dragon skeleton. So, fun note, skeletons and zombies to monsters are considered weaker than the actual monsters. So, I mean, they may have more HP, but they don't regenerate, and they often have limited abilities. So, if you see a skeleton of a, say, a Yaktuar, it may be that the actual Yaktuars will start appearing on the next couple floors. My god, that skeletal warriors take a lot of hits. Okay, we managed to get the vampire. That's the problem with those suckers, is that they're summoners. And summoners can do this thing where they just swarm you all of a sudden, making them very hard to hit or target. Okie dokie. Looks like this floor is clear. Further in we go. Let's not find myself in the same situation as last time. I'm not actually sure how this is possible. I've been here before and there weren't many centaurs. They must have spawned between then and now. I could use Mephitic Cloud and pray that I don't get hit, but if each of them hits for 15 damage, I'll have 4 health left. So that's not a risk I'm willing to take. I'm going to read a Scroll of Fear. If it works, and it did, they'll all back off. That will give me plenty of time to cloud this area in Mephitic clouds. There we go. That could have been a whole lot scarier. If I didn't have a Scroll of Fear, I probably would have instead opted to hit Z and then O, and this would have happened. Or Z and then G, and then this would have happened. And all of a sudden I wouldn't have been in that much danger because I'd have such a huge armada. But the scroll was smarter because even with the armada I wouldn't be sure where exactly they would summon to. And this is a little bit safer. But you see how dangerous that could be if you're not prepared for the level of difficulty of the vaults, and you're deep diving and you ignore the lair. You won't have half as much power as I do right now, and things can end badly for you. What is this? The Hall of Blades is a room that is filled with weapons that are floating freely in midair and can attack you because they're animated. It is, I think, one room big. It is extraordinarily dangerous. I say that because I want you to picture the best enchanted weapon you've ever had, and then imagine that it attacks you. It's a weapon, so its evasion, its size is small and its evasion is really high. So there's a good chance that your high level attack or 2 or 3 will miss. Meanwhile, it's a weapon, so its accuracy is whatever it is. It's going to crit you, and it can hurt a lot. I remember, I think my second highest score ever, Santa Claus, the mountain dwarf, died because he got critted by a triple sword in the Hall of Blades. At any rate, it's still a nice place to go because if you can fight the blade there, or at least are cautious, and you kill a blade, instead of getting a corpse, the blade drops to the ground without animation, and you can then pick it up and use it as much as you like. So those highly enchanted dangerous swords, yeah, one of them could be yours to take home with you. I, on the other hand, no, I'm not really in need of such a thing. I have a staff, and while I would like a staff of conjurations, it's not like I'm desperate enough that I'll work my way through a sea of flying weapons. I'm actually going to drop a bunch of these wands that I picked up but don't really want. There we go. But so far this has been a thoroughly useless trip into the vaults. I haven't found any of the resistances I was hoping for. But the vault is only half dug through, and experience is experience. Doesn't matter how much you have, you can always use some more until you hit level 27. A lot of useless armors. Now, I'm seriously considering training my actual armor skill and wearing some enchanted leather armor, the like of which, just for the sake of some good resistances, because this is getting ridiculous how little I've found. I mean, what can you do, but... You guys remember our friend the slimes that drain your mana by forcing you to attack them repeatedly? Well, they're back! Anyway, how's that fire skill doing? Up to 6... 16... Alrighty. I keep thinking recall is on O, so I'm going to switch it to O. And it'll save me a few key presses. I'm going to spend a moment while the fighting is still pretty blasé to remind everybody what macros I'm using. Because I definitely find that switching macros around helps my play by making me, less concerned about how many buttons I have to push and more concerned about what ought to be the right move. When I play a wizard, or when I play anything, but wizard especially, I like putting as much as I can on my right hand. So I have the numpad, which is the grid, up, down, left, right, of course. I have the plus sign. Now the plus sign I use as my auto-explore. So it basically does, I think the letter is O, to initiate auto-exploring. And yeah, for casting spells I use the slash or the dividing sign operator, and that's hot synced to my primary spell, which is usually Magic Dart or A. My secondary spell, which is a higher level, will be my B spell, and for that I'm going to use the right brace because that's just a convenient button. So ZB and ZA with a dot after it. The dot meaning actually select that target. Lowercase all, so that it doesn't activate unless there is a valid target. Now Mephitic Cloud is a must-have spell for me for any caster I run. And I put that on the C, the letter C, and sync that to the star. So Z, C, but because Mephitic Cloud, very often I don't want to place it on a creature, but rather on a space. It's a capital letter C, so that it won't insist on a target. It'll let me place it wherever I like. So capital Z, letter C, No period. I saw something spitting fire at my minions. I don't know what it is, but I don't want to fight it with 54 health, so. Now, doing this to recover is semi-dangerous. I say semi because it's obviously not seriously dangerous, but it allows time on this floor for other monsters to respawn in areas that I think that I've previously searched. Oh, it's a zombie. Okay, thank God. I was wondering why it hasn't taken any damage. There we go. Yay, it's an actual Yaktuar. These things make centaurs look like a joke. Wow. Yeah, they make centaurs look like a joke, and that's why, because they can totally kill you. I guess I should have realized I was at such bad health. I was playing too quickly. As I said before, it's not like this is their fault, it's totally my fault for dying here. He was doing roughly 20 damage a shot. I should have stopped and realized that I was in much more dangerous condition than I thought and not just backed away. It doesn't help that my zombies didn't step in the way to guard me, but I shouldn't have relied on that. I should have just quaffed a potion of health or blinked. Lord knows I had plenty of blink scrolls I could have gotten away. Okay, that's gonna be it. That's the death of Zap. He did a good job while he lasted, but that's game over. It's curtains for him. Dies at the 5th floor of the vaults with a beautiful, beautiful set of stuffs. Second place only to the wizard named Wiz, and they both met their death at the hands of, fittingly enough, a Yaktuar captain. It's been an excellent run. Thank you so much for watching and so much for viewing. I guess the question I asked earlier about whether or not you'd like me to post parallel runs is no longer relevant. I'll be posting the Naga run as it comes out and the other runs I intend to do. I want to thank everybody who's watched the video and left comments and encouragement. You have no idea how much more fun it is to do these things when you know that there's somebody else who gives a damn or is watching. Very fun, great game, and I kind of feel stupid that I got carried away here instead of just using the multiple means of escape I had at my hands. I thought I could just fight the damn thing, and that wasn't the right way to go. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. It's been lovely playing, and stay tuned. I'm not sure what exactly I'm going to run next for my next combo, but I'm more than happy to post it as it comes out. Alright, thank you very much, and bye.